How are you?
Finding yourself. Are you better?
Yeah, I'm good. How's everything?
Good. It's been a busy morning. Sorry, man. I see you've been trying to get hold of me. I've been in and out of meetings all
Yeah.
day.
So can you hear me properly?
I can hear you. I can indeed.
Great. So let's start. Hello, reviewers. Hope you are doing well. This is Ubad from the Recruiters Pakistan. Today we have a very wonderful guest from the recruiting fraternity. She's a globally renowned for her valued contributions in internationally sourcing community. She delivered keynotes and trained teams from Auckland to Seattle. And she's a qualified teacher in agency recruitment and internal talent acquisition. She has launched her talent sourcing training business in 2019. Please welcome all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa, Vanessa Raath. Hi, Vanessa. How are you today?
Hey, good. Thank you very much. What an awesome introduction. I really appreciate it. I definitely want to listen to that one again. Just one correction. I'm
Yes,
no
please
longer
go
in
ahead.
Johannesburg. I've moved.
Okay.
I'm now based in the Western Cape, which is another area of South Africa.
Great. Welcome to our podcast, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So, can you please tell us how recruiters and talent sources create their personal brands actually?
Sure. So that's something that I'm very passionate about. So a personal brand is something for me that has to be nurtured and has to be grown because when you change jobs as a recruiter, that brand is the one thing that goes with you. And if you have a
Okay.
positive brand and you've helped lots of people and you've got a big network, that will help to grow the brand and will help you to be a better recruiter because it's all about people. And the reason why you're growing your brand is to attract more people. It's so you can be a talent magnet. So that for me is a really, really important and very often overlooked part of being a recruiter, to be honest.
Okay. Can you please suggest most recommended platform where a talent sourcer or a recruiter can market themselves?
Oh, it definitely has to be LinkedIn because it's full of, it depends who you're trying to attract. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn is where all the recruiters are spending their time. So for me, it makes sense for me to be marketing myself on LinkedIn because my target audience is recruiters. I'm looking for recruiters that I can train and, that I can get into my online academy and that I can work with. But if you're looking for, say, a software engineer, then building a big brand on LinkedIn might not be the best way forward for you because the software developers are not sitting on LinkedIn. So then you've got to think about other platforms. Where can you add value? Looking at community meetup groups or like things like GitHub, Stack Overflow, Dev, Kaggle. Where can you go and create a brand and add value to people in the community? So it does really depend on who's your target audience, who are you trying to be a tailored magnet to.
Okay. Can you please tell us the steps how to entice and attract the passive candidates who are not really looking out for the opportunity
I
as a
think you've got to have
recruiter and a teacher?
yeah, I suppose that you've got to have a compelling story. So if someone's not in the market and they're not looking for something, you've got to, kind of let them know that maybe they should be looking because you've got this amazing opportunity that they're never going to get in their current role. So it's about, working with the clients that are offering and not necessarily the biggest, packages, but the most exciting projects, people that, can sink their teeth into. Some really nice perks, maybe the fact that people can work remotely if that's what the person wants. So it's all about having the best story. So people don't know that they're in the market until you pick up the phone and say, I've got a great opportunity. And that's what you're looking for, is those great opportunities. Because if you can give them a compelling reason, something which they're not going to get if they stay in their current job, people will move. It's human nature.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the biggest barrier and the difficulty for any talent sourcer or the recruiter is to tap the right talent, discover the correct talent as per the position requirements, position specs. So, can you please elaborate some of the unconventional places where the recruiter can go and find the hidden gems?
Sure, you're right, and that's the problem. Is that when I'm training teams these days, I always start with where you're currently finding talent, and all the teams everywhere in the world come back with
Because the
we're looking on
companies are giving
LinkedIn.
the LinkedIn premium accounts to everyone. Go
Exactly.
submit the emails, contact them, and get it.
Exactly. Now, LinkedIn Premium is good, but when you start looking at the prices of Recruiter and Recruiter Lite, that's really expensive. So you've got to move away from where everybody else is looking. So that's local job boards and that's LinkedIn. So you've got to think about what are you looking for. So if I'm looking for academics or people with masters or PhD, I'm going to go and look at sites like ResearchGate or Google Scholar, or there was a Research Rabbit one that I found recently. It all depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for creatives, you want to go and have a look at Behance, you want to look at ArtStation, you want to look at Dribble. If you're looking for techies, especially data scientists, go look at Kaggle, look at Zindi. There's a lot of places where people spend their time online that just isn't LinkedIn. People who are in communities, people speaking at conferences. It's about using the whole internet and not just kind of defaulting to your local job board and LinkedIn, because first of all, it's boring. I mean, you can't do that all day, every day, and it would be a very boring job. But also, it will really diversify the candidates that you are coming back with if you're looking at different places.
Okay. Can you please elaborate the term whole internet you've used?
So the whole internet would be, really just using Google to run searches. So, I mean, if you're using Boolean search at the moment, you want to be removing the site operator and just running general searches and seeing what you can find out about the skill that you're looking for. Who is speaking about it? Who's running communities? It's doing the general research, which I think a lot of people forget about because they get a new role and they're quite enthusiastic and they just jump into LinkedIn and they start looking. And they don't research where these people might be spending their time or which conferences they're attending.
Okay, okay. In your opinion, what are the major recruiting trends you will be foreseeing in the next 5 to 7 years down the line as
So
a
definitely
trainer?
AR's,
As a
yeah,
trainer.
AR's having an impact. So I think that the trends are really interesting. So the impact, I think that there's going to be a lot of recruiters who could be out of work. There's a lot of general admin tasks which AI can
Out of
do.
work. Recruiter will be out of work.
Yeah, I think recruiters, if they are
Very
lazy
dangerous.
and yeah, they're just relying on ChatGPT and, they don't have a network. I think that those recruiters could find themselves replaced by a good AI tool. But the good recruiters who are using AI to be better and, really just free up some of their time to spend more time with human beings are going to do really well. But I just think that it will change. It's going to disrupt every industry on the planet. It's not just going to be recruiters. It's already disrupted some more than the recruitment industry. And I think that as recruiters, to future-proof ourselves from being replaced by AI, we've definitely got to start thinking about being more human and, having a more human-centric approach, spending more time with human beings. This is all important things that seem to have gone out the window as we all sit and hide behind emails. So it's the recruiters that are very personable, have a community, have a network, which are going to be all right in the future.
Okay, great. You're also a teacher teaching recruiters and talent sources as well. Can you please tell me
Yes.
about your online academy? What it's all about? What kind of
So,
courses you are offering?
so my business is actually 5 years old soon, next week, actually, 1st of April. And for the first year of running my business was fun. And I used to go out and travel all around Johannesburg where I lived then, and I delivered training. But then COVID hit, and I couldn't deliver the training in person because the whole world was in lockdown. So I then started delivering training online. And then I started delivering training online all over the world, which was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. But then I realized is that, when you are now waking up at 4 o'clock to start training to Australia in the morning, and the same day you're finishing at 9, 10 o'clock training to North America, it makes for a very, very long day. So I actually built an online academy a year ago, just over a year ago. And now when people do my training, I still do live training. I'm actually traveling to Spain in May to deliver a training workshop for a company there. I still do live online via Zoom, but most people opt to go through my online academy because it's their own self-paced learning. They can log in and kind of consume the content when they've got a gap in their day. And that's proved to be really popular over the last, let's say, 18 months. A lot of people going through it. And it's freed up a lot of my time to focus on other areas. I've put more training, I've built more courses, I've been able to speak at more conferences. And at the moment, I'm actually focusing on building a talent recruiting community. So by doing it, it was a really good move for me. It took a lot of pressure off me, but also still managed to keep the business going, which is great.
Okay, excellent, excellent. All right. So, what kind of issues nowadays your trainees, that is the talent sources and the recruiters and the TA managers, are facing?
Sure.
What
So at
issues
the
will
moment,
come up to you actually?
okay, so that's actually quite interesting because a lot of the time I'm hearing at the moment is that those people themselves are actually unemployed. There seems to be a lot of unemployment at the moment in the TA space. A lot of recruiters looking for
Really?
work, a lot of
In
talent
South
sources,
Africa
even
or in whole Europe?
globally. No. Europe,
Globally.
in the US, I seem to be on calls fairly frequently at the moment, at least one or two a
That's very
day.
alarming. That's very
Yeah.
alarming.
Tell me about it. Of people who are, looking for work and really struggling, and these people are really good. I mean, they people are spoken at international conferences. They are being up there speaking too, and it just seems pretty strange. But as you said, it's actually probably more alarming than strange because at the moment there seems to be a lot of companies that are in a holding position. So we've got two wars going on in the Northern Hemisphere at the moment. We've got a lot of elections. We've got the US waiting for their election. And all of that is having an impact on, companies. So companies aren't hiring. So when they're not hiring, they don't need as many recruiters and TA professionals. So there seems to be a little bit of that happening at the moment. So that's the problem in itself, what I'm hearing a lot. But most of the time people come to me because they say, this is what I listen for, is Vanessa, I just can't find the people. So when they say I can't find the talent, I don't know where to look, that's where my training actually comes into its own. So I do training from personal branding, which we spoke about how to find talent that nobody else can find, and also how to write better outreach messages. And my newest training, which I just put into my academy, is all about business development for recruiters. So how
Can you please
recruiters can
elaborate
get
how to
better.
develop the business? That's very useful for me as well.
Yes, exactly. How to do business development. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's super interesting. So whenever I hear a lot that there's a problem with this or there's a problem here, I think, okay, how can I make this into training?
Okay.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay. Final question. Any advice for aspiring newcomers or aspiring HR professionals planning to making their career in TA space or in recruiting?
So definitely what you need to do is you need to not be afraid of AI. You don't want to be one of those recruiters who are ignoring it and hoping it goes away. You need to really understand it, understand how it can add value and how you can use it in your company in order to free up more time so you can spend more time with people. So if you're just starting out, and the second piece of advice would be start working on that brand. So start making sure that you have a good brand and that people know who you are and that you're adding value and you're giving back on the right platforms, because that will also help you one day when maybe something happens to the company.
Okay. Vanessa, final thoughts. How a recruiter can measure if he or she has a strong personal brand or not? What are the parameters?
Okay, very good question. So I think what it would come down to is you need to measure your incoming connection requests on whatever platform you're building the brand or platforms versus how many you are having to send. So if you're still in the stage of you building your network, you're still trying to put yourself out there, you're sending out a lot of invitations, that's fine, but then people aren't finding you. So for
A lot
example,
of people are following you. This means you have a strong personal brand or not?
yes, absolutely. So like for example, if I go and present at a conference like I did last week, Monday in the US, when I finish speaking and I get off the stage and I answer all the questions in the chat and I look at my LinkedIn and suddenly I've got like 300 new followers and I've got 50
Very
new
nice.
connection requests, then you know, okay, that was a good exercise because now people want to connect with me. So you need to just monitor things, monitor your LinkedIn posts, monitor whatever you're doing. And if suddenly you see a surge of people, connecting with you, then whatever you're doing is right. Because if you've got a strong brand, people want to be connected with you and they want to follow you.
Excellent, Vanessa. Thank you so much for all your sharing your valued insights and your participation in my podcast. It's a great learning session for me as well as a student, because I am also the student in talent sourcing and learning new things every day. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
viewers, I am also confident that you've enjoyed this podcast as well. Thank you, Vanessa. Take care and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. It was great to be here.
Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you.
Bye.